There are works of art that are not merely observed, but felt as a physical presence in the room. In 1891, the ministers of Prince Ferdinand of Bulgaria experienced something that would haunt them forever. Upon entering the royal hall, they faced the prince's latest acquisition. Their reaction was immediate and visceral. Every single one of them crossed themselves. As if standing before a living demon. It is said that it became a terrifying tradition. No one could pass this painting without making the sign of the cross. There was no blood, no monsters, no torture. Only a silhouette sitting in the darkness. The author of this disturbance was Franz von Stuck, the Prince of Painters of Munich. A man who, before descending into hell, was the master who shaped geniuses like Kandinsky and Klee. Stuck began his career in the light, winning gold medals with his Guardian of Paradise. But his mind soon drifted away from radiant angels toward the shadows of symbolism and the secrets of the inner self. While other painters were content with the visible world, Stuck became obsessed with the invisible. His studio became a laboratory where mythology, eroticism, and the occult merged into a single vision. In 1890, he decided to capture the ultimate outcast. Not the devil of folk legends with horns and a tail, but a fallen angel whose humanity was precisely what made him unbearable to look at. The figure appears naked, muscular, and tense. His skin has the grayish hue of cold ash. It is a body that has known the glory of heaven, but is now condemned to the gravity of the earth. Look at his right arm, twisted backwards in an unnatural pose. For decades, it was a mystery what he was touching, until his sketches revealed the truth. He is clutching the base of his own broken wings. The pose inevitably reminds us of Rodin's The Thinker, but while Rodin's man meditates on the creation of the world, Stuck's Lucifer is immersed in the cold calculation of revenge and resentment. In the background, a crescent moon emits a sickly fluorescent light. It is not a natural glow. It is the final shimmer of divine light still, clinging to his silhouette. As the abyss claims him, Stuck took his obsession beyond the canvas and built Villa Stuck, a neoclassical temple he designed himself to be a physical manifestation of his symbolist mind and his darkest desires. Walking through its halls is like walking through a dream. Reliefs of divine processions decorate the walls, leading the visitor toward a studio where the air feels heavier, as if Lucifer were still there. During World War II, the house was devastated. Many of the original works vanished under the rubble, leaving behind an atmosphere of loss that seems to feed the fallen angel's melancholy. Stuck was a master of the femme fatale, painting dangerous women like Salome or the Sin, but nothing matched the psychological weight of those green eyes glowing in the gloom. Those eyes do not blink. They are phosphorescent orbs that seem to follow the viewer across the room. It is a gaze heavy with envy, the envy of the paradise he lost, which now fuels his eternal fire. It is not evil for evil's sake. It is the pain of exile transformed into pure hatred. Stuck captured the exact moment sadness turns into malice, and that is what terrifies anyone who looks at him. With the end of the Great War, symbolism fell out of fashion. Stuck, once the Prince of Art, died in obscurity in 1928, almost forgotten by a world that no longer wanted to look inward. However, his Lucifer survived the silence, hidden in museums, waiting for a new generation brave enough to face his gaze once again. For decades, art historians dismissed Stuck's work as a relic of a bygone era. They called it kitsch or too theatrical, but they missed the technical genius hidden in the layers of black oil and shadow. Look at the way the light hits the floor. It's not reflecting off a surface. It feels like it's being swallowed. Stuck used a heavy, textured application of paint to create a physical void on the canvas. And then there is the glow. Stuck managed to make the eyes in the moon appear radioactive without modern chemicals. It was a masterclass in contrast, using darkness to amplify the light. Even the anatomical choices are deliberate. The legs are pressed together, not in a pose of power, but in one of eternal shame. He is a giant made small by his own choices, a titan reduced to a silhouette. This technical precision is what made the ministers tremble. It wasn't just a picture of the devil. It was the realization that the darkness on the wall had a volume, a weight, and a heartbeat. The world moved on. World War II nearly erased Stuck from memory, and the Prince of Art was buried under the noise of modernism. His villa stood as a silent, dusty mausoleum for his dreams. It wasn't until 1986, with the reopening of Villa Stuck as a museum, that the world was forced to look back. The keys turned in the locks, the dust was cleared, and there he was, Lucifer, still waiting in the dark. Suddenly, a new generation of art lovers found themselves staring into those glowing green eyes. The themes of passionate struggle and the battle between the sexes were just as relevant as they were a century before. The painting was no longer just an antique. It was a mirror, a psychological map of the envy and the hidden darkness that exists in the heart of every human being. Historians began to realize that Stuck hadn't just painted a biblical figure. He had captured the very essence of the fin de siècle, the feeling that the world was ending and something ancient was watching it fall. So, we return to the palace in Sofia. Why did they cross themselves? Was it a simple superstition? Or did they recognize someone they knew? Perhaps they saw the shadow of their own political ambitions. Stuck once repeated the story of the terrified ministers with pure delight. He knew that if his art could force a man to pray, he had achieved something beyond mere painting. He had reached the level of the divine or the infernal. Lucifer is not an image of evil that comes from the outside. He is the image of what happens when we lose our place in the light. He is the patron saint of the lost, the envious, and the forgotten. Even now, as you watch this, the eyes don't seem to stay on the screen. They seem to linger in the room, watching the viewer with a penetrating, judging silence. It is a sense of loss that anchors him. The envy of the heaven he fell from, fueling the fires of the very hell in which he must now dwell for all eternity. Franz von Stuck left us a warning that the darkness is not empty. It is inhabited by the things we refuse to acknowledge about ourselves. The ministers are gone. The prince is gone. But the silhouette remains. Still seated. Still plotting. Still watching. If you stood before the original today, would you feel the need to cross yourself? Or would you find yourself unable to look away from the only one who truly understands the depth of the dark? Lucifer is waiting, and the light is fading.